Today we have a throwback video. That's right, Orion 225 HCCA digital reference, second generation from approximately 1992 to 1994. Have one of these on my test bench. This is retro footage from 2013, stuff that I never really released on my channel. So let's take a look at this amp. We're going to run all the tests in mono. And for some reason at 1 kilohertz, I'm not sure why I use 1 kilohertz and not 40 hertz. I think it's because it was a full range amp. So let's try out the certified test first at 8 ohms. Got 105 watts. That's going to simulate the 4 ohm test divided by 2. So about 52.5 watts per channel is what we got at 4 ohms. Uncertified to clipping 106, so just 107, just a little bit more. Again, bridged at 8 ohms, which simulates the stereo 4-channel load on the amp. Dynamic, 1 kilohertz. You can see here. So basically we're going to say that the Orion 225 HCCA does about 50 watts per channel at 4 ohms. So that's, double what it's rated to do. Let's try 4 ohms where it's rated 100 watts at 12 volts. Certified test first. Again, we're using the 1 kilohertz tone. We got 196 watts at 13.81, so above that rated power, almost double. Now let's try the uncertified mode. Takes us up to the clipping point. Should get just a little bit more, and we do. We get over 200. It's counting up still. 20456. 206 watts, 13.73 volts. And we'll try the dynamic test. 4 ohms bridge mono, rated 100 watts. We get 205. Yep, 205 watts. Now let's try the 2 ohm test. Amp is rated 200 watts at 12 volts. Let's try certified first, up to 1% distortion. And yes, again, well above the rated power, 328 watts at 13.63 volts. I'm sure a lot of you guys like to see that mid 13 voltage because you complain that I have too high voltage or too low, so maybe I can change that in the future. Uncertified, we got 345 watts, 13.57. So it's well exceeding every different rating here at all the tests that we've performed. Dynamically, 346 watts, 13.73 volts. Now let's try the 1 ohm test. This is where this 25 watt per channel amp is rated 400 watts at 12 volts. We're going to be a little bit over 12 volts here. Let's try it out and see what we get. It stops at 372, but watch when I stop the test. Boom, 421. Not really sure what's up with that, but 421 at 13.74 volts. Uncertified up to clipping. And we easily get that 400 watt rating, 433 at 13.3. 436, again, it jumped up right at the end. What about dynamically? 1 kilohertz. 1 ohm mono. This is half an ohm per stereo channel on the amplifier, which very few amplifiers can handle half an ohm per channel. But this was the Orion 225's forte. 445 watts at 13.45 volts. I wanted to show off this brochure from 1993 of the Orion HCCA amps. And in the specs section, you can see the 225 HCCA was rated to handle between half an ohm and 16 ohm stereo. Now there's plenty of these tech guides online that show the same thing, but this one was incorrect because it shows the 250 HCCA is also half an ohm per channel stable. It's not. It's 1 ohm per channel stable or 2 ohms bridged. Now if you guys check out my older video of Jason Williams' pickup truck, his Mazda, you can see he was running 4 XTR 15-inch subs. They were dual voice coil, 4 ohms with a half ohm load to the amp, which was bridged, and it was really amazing. But again, this is the difference between running a reactive load of speakers versus a resistive load of the dyno. And we're going to show you what's going to happen here in just a minute, but check the link in the video description if you want to see this old video. This is a real cool one too. So here we have the amp wired up on the dyno. Not very smart, but I'm going to try a certified test at half an ohm bridge, which that's a quarter of an ohm per channel, and boom, we had smoke, and you can't see it right now, but you're getting ready to. For some reason, I didn't have my mic hooked up during this test, which is a shame, so you could have heard all those sounds. But let me move the camera so you can see. What's important to realize is A, I'm a big dummy for running this amp at half an ohm bridge mono, which is a quarter of an ohm per channel stereo. The other thing is this amp was factory, and I'm going to show you here in a minute. I'm going to pull the bottom panel off. This has all the factory components, the caps, all the transistors and everything. This one was never really serviced over the years. So I'm going to show you here what happened. These 3300, I think, microfarad caps. Yeah, 50 volt, 3300 microfarad caps. Both of them popped off of the board. They both popped their legs off. And also some of the power supply transistors kind of blew. You can see the black marks on some of the 3 legs there on the right side. So we blew the amp. But again, we put this amp through crazy stress. At the time of the video, the amp was over 20 years old. So it's a shame, but it's also amazing that the amp was able to do what it did. So thanks again for watching. Make sure you check my other videos. More behind the scenes coming. Until next time, Big D, I'm out of here.